welcome to all our viewers of PMC English. I'm your host Nandini for the show New Age Family. And today I bring in front of you two amazing people and a powerful couple, and you will know why I'm calling them powerful in a short while. So before introducing them to you, I would like to say just two words for them, which is goal and practice. And you will know again why I'm saying this. And they truly live by this quote, these two words. And so before further ado, let me introduce you beautiful people. Namaste. Naman, do you want to share why did I begin this this episode by saying you both live by this two words, goal and practice?
Yes. So in 2019, I came to Dhyana Jagath for the first time, and there I think on day 5th, right? So it was an unusual thing, right? You wake up early in the morning, you go meditate, and then you come back, right? So when I woke up on day 5th, Patri sir was making us meditate, and during that time he was saying his message in Telugu. Okay. I couldn't understand what he was saying, so I was simply meditating, and suddenly my awareness came back, and I heard him say, there are two things in life, Lakshya and Abhyas. Lakshya is your goal. Abhyas is your way you work towards your goal, right? If you follow these rules, you can achieve anything in life. That's the only thing he said in Hindi. And those two words, they kind of etched, in my mind. And then eventually I started seeing all the patterns, right? You decide something. When you decide something, you practice your way to achieve that goal, right? So that kind of became a mantra that we started living by. And after that, whatever it be, right? Whatever the goal be, the PMC or PAIMA or, my personal venture, all of this, you decide a goal. This is something that we want to start, and then you practice your way to achieve it. So that became the mantra.
See, that's why I call them powerful. Such a powerful message and experience to share by. So I've known, Alekhya from many years now as a friend and a conscious co-traveler. And I've known Naman from past few years, and that's enough to say that you both are really powerful couple together and meant to create wonders. So I would like you to share about yourself, Alekhya, for our audience to know.
Namaste. I'm very happy to do this interview, firstly. So present moment, absolute joy. My journey started when, of course, my parents started meditating, and then my sister started to meditate, and I, at that point in time during my CA exams, I thought, chalo, we can experiment. And so I started to meditate, and that's how my journey began. I was a very skeptical person, so I didn't completely believe or take anything for granted. I wanted to learn through my own experience. So there was no stone left unturned to have my experiences in life. So I tried everything, fulfilled all my desires, worldly desires, so-called worldly desires. And from time to time, I would go back to this practice of meditation. So till then in my life, I took me some time in my life to really understand what meditation meant. So it's not just a practice, but at some point in my life, it was just a practice. And at that point, like Naman said, goal and practice. Meditation practice was always there, but that inner desire translated to goals, which kept getting achieved, because that pillar of constant support was always there. At some point, there was a shift, and it was not planned, but it happened. And as a part of that shift, my meditation practice moved from, I meditate at some point when I get time to, I must meditate every day because I connected back to my source. And since then, that shift has led me to discover slowly the purpose for which I was born, my talents, my desires, I think my entire being. made more sense. And so meditation was no longer something that I was doing, but it was part of my very being. And that's my journey.
It's very interestingly how you said that you were not very conventional, that whatever is provided to you, like take it and do it. You were very scientific because you experiment. So you're truly a scientific, master. That's really spiritual scientific master. That's really great. And before I come back to you, I want Naman to share about himself to our audience.
So first of all, thank you so much, PMC English, for giving us the platform. My journey started when, so I was born in a Brahmin family, traditional Brahmin family, where, morning you get up, you do puja, followed by your other routines. So that's how I was raised. And pure vegetarian food. So my fathers, my forefathers, everyone was pure vegetarian. But for me, it changed. When I went to college, I started listening to my friends with the peer pressure that they put on you, right? So started succumbing to some of this thing where I started eating non-vegetarian food. Initially, I felt bad, but as the group began, so it felt normal that everyone is doing it, right? So never really focused, never had this understanding of what spirituality is, never heard of meditation. Only knew, okay, there is Ram, there is this thing, there is, some idol who is watching over me. So that's how I lived my life. It actually led to a lot of good and bad, the experiences. Bad being where my health issue started, anger came in, ego came in, right? From there, I think as I went along, something, the eventuality happens, right? The progress happens. And eventually I met Patri sir in an event in 2016, where he was the one who pointed it out. And from there, slowly and steadily, changed my way, because he was the one who actually asked me some of the questions which triggered my core. And it took me around 2-3 years where I, started working on myself. First of all, left non-vegetarian food entirely. Then started reading about Eckhart Tolle, some books that I thought was, that they're termed this thing, spiritual books. From there, I started, I met all of these youngsters in 2016, where they spoke about pyramids, they spoke about meditation, and then I kind of related to that topic. But yeah, so that's a whole lot different story. But yeah, so there, slowly and steadily left. When the food habits got changed, then my words started changing, then my habits started changing. So yeah, so current now, fully doing meditation, spreading meditation, sharing the joy basically that I gained from meditation.
Wow, beautiful. So it's an amazing journey and very dynamic as well, because I want to ask you, were you consciously seeing the difference between your transformation after adapting vegetarianism?
So when I was consuming it, right, I was not consuming it as the consciousness was not there that I'm eating dead animals, right? The consciousness was it's food, right? So, and when everybody around you was in the same this thing, so it's like you are in a well, right, where everyone thinks that this well is your home, and it is right? Until Patri sir came in. So what happened was in 2016, I went to a friend of mine. So his wife actually told me that, there is an event happening, why don't you go? Right? Why don't you come with me? So in 16th October 2016, there was this event in PhD Chamber of Commerce, where so I went in and I saw everybody was sitting, hands crossed, leg crossed, and their eyes were closed. And I got confused because there was a guy who was playing flute, white dadi, sports shoes and kurta, which clearly didn't make any sense then. But I got confused where, he's playing flute, and I was like, he's a musician, right? Why are these people not actually watching him? And why are they closing their eyes? Was the first question in my head. Then Nandini ma'am actually told me how to meditate. Said close your eyes and focus on your breath. So what happened after the meditation session, he went and went to sit and meet and greet basically to everybody, and everybody was forming a line in front of him. There were 2 chairs where he's sitting comfortably, and people, they're coming, sitting in front of him, saying thank you, namaskar, and moving on. So there, basically, my turn came and I sat. And when I sat, I was like, Patri sir, namaskar, I'm Naman. I really enjoyed your music. This is how because in my head, I'm still perceiving him as a musician, right? Thank you so much for your music. And he didn't say anything. He literally stared in my eyes for 10 minutes, said nothing, no expression, there was nothing. It's like a plain face where he's just looking into my eyes. Yeah, it was very tensed. So first couple of minutes, I thought, okay, you make this thing. Some people look into your eyes before actually talking. So I thought maybe, but then 2 minutes happened, 3 minutes happened, 4, and then so I felt like some energy. He's like, something is piercing inside me, karke. And that was the first time I was feeling this, right? After 10 minutes, he started yelling out of nowhere. And there I had a decent business. Like, I was pretty fair for a 24-year-old, 25-year-old guy, right? And out of nowhere, he started, yelling at me and stuff that I haven't even spoke to him because I'm still perceiving him as a musician, right? He said, you're eating wrong, you're reading wrong, your life is all wrong. And that's very existential question, right? So I had this existential crisis in front of me where he's saying, everything you're doing in your life is wrong. First of all, I brushed him off. Like, I got scared because, people are running away from him. So
upfront.
So upfront. And luckily, nobody knew me then, right? So I was like just another guy who's getting yelled at. So I thought maybe that's, one-time thing. Karke, I'll just
Everybody will forget.
Everybody will forget. No one will remember me, bolke, right? So there, I'm sitting and he's yelling, and then he said, go improve the, work on these things. Come back to me when, this thing happens. Something he said. And because I didn't really pay attention after that because I was just panicking and, moving, running away from him. So, and that day, in the evening, Nandini ma'am actually said, there is a dinner party at one of my friend's place. Why don't you come with me? You had a rough day. Why don't you come with me to this dinner? So Devika Gupta, she lives nearby. So we went to her house, and again, I'm in the mindset where, I'm going to her friend's house, so probably we'll have a family dinner and then I'll come back. Turns out Patri sir is coming there.
Guy who just yelled.
Guy who just yelled at me, and I'm still afraid, right? Because, and that's a house, right? Where you are in an auditorium, you can disappear. You can disappear at one corner and make sure that you can leave also. How do you leave a guest's house, right? Without even taking Nandini ma'am with me, because obviously I was with her. So, and there I'm trying to avoid him, but situations are coming where, I'm needed. Let's say, so there was a setup where USB drive, Patricia wanted to see some video that the Paima Delhi then was working on. So, yeah, so basically the pen drive was not working. So I knew how to correct that fault.
Yeah, I was there. We all were there.
Yeah. So I came, I like NTFS FAT 32 kya, then from there, we kind of, and then I'm getting conscious, maybe he'll remember, right? And he didn't remember me. Like, now I know, like, he was like out of sight, out of mind, right? But back then I was very scared, and at last then everybody sat in front of him and he's talking normally and everything. But still I was, in my head I was a little afraid of him, right? Then I went ahead and continued with my life. But those 3 sentences that he said, you're eating wrong, you're living wrong, you're reading wrong, right? Those were the initiation for me into spirituality.
Okay.
So because he was the one who showed me that the well you are in is not the right well, come out of it, watch the world, and change your life.
Change the company, change company.
Company of people, yes. Company of people, books I'm reading, food I'm eating.
That's a complete change of living reality. So amazing. So coming back to you, Alekhya, you mentioned that it was not very easy, or like in a flick of seconds you adapted meditation. How was the turning point for you that you really accepted meditation as a living habit? How did that come in your life?
So I'd say that everything led to that moment. There wasn't a single moment. I was not living in Delhi at that point in time. I was traveling a lot, and I think there was a point when I was in Bombay where I felt really empty. And that actually really first time while I was living away, it's very easy to get into a lifestyle when you have like-minded people. But when you are put in a tough situation where everything is adverse to what you really want, again, a reality that you create for yourself, I felt really lonely. And more than lonely, I think I felt really empty because I had the so-called picture-perfect life, but I still didn't feel as fulfilled. And I think that was the starting point where I realized that what meditation brings to me was much more than just that 10 minutes of relaxation which I experienced, but it was something more deeper which I didn't have words to explain. And I think somewhere then, and Patri sir used to visit Bombay at that time, so I would, try and find those moments where I could go and spend time amongst people who would also talk about it, who were also feeling the same thing that I was feeling, and perhaps had better words to express it. And I still was trying to figure out those words. I think that was also the point where I realized that the one or two people that I chose to share the practice with. So until then, meditation was a very personal thing where I would do it in my own time, in my comfort zone. And when I reconnected back with myself to begin the practice, to really connect with myself, I realized that I wanted to share it with people. And so that's how Sajjan Sangatya really is. It's such a wonderful way in which it makes you come out of your shell, because you realize it's not just you who's feeling this bliss, but so many others. And naturally so I started to tend it towards wanting to share with people. And the more I started to share with people, let's say the people who I worked with or the people who I interacted with, and then a shift to, I want to go out and tell more people about it. So I didn't know what teaching was also. What would you teach to someone, because it's such a simple practice. But I realized when, the journey through which I myself went through, all the questions, the doubts, the myths that I had of meditation, other people also had that. So the shift from, okay, do it for yourself, to I kind of felt responsible to say, I would like to take. So I took charge of it. So I think that shift in my personality happened. Wow. And I think that was the shift, because I no longer felt that I was doing meditation for myself. It was, until then, I was doing meditation to feel bliss and connect back to my source. But I realized that meditation itself was something that led me to kind of flow in the direction in which my life always meant for me to go. So again, I'd come back. So fast forward in my material reality, I had come back to Delhi, and I took up another job. And again, I was traveling across the world and experiencing all of the wonderful benefits of meditation. And one turning point where I had to now leave my job. No, I left my job and I took a break for 6 months to kind of rekindle back to say, okay, who am I really? And I think most people, that's why they call it the quarter life crisis, because most people kind of tend to get to that question, because you achieve, then you have a break, you achieve, then you have a break. So what is that constant thing that is there with you throughout? So again, I was really happy teaching meditation, but again, that's the thing. So my personality shift happened, but me connecting with my innate nature was still something that I had not acknowledged yet. I was flowing, but I had not acknowledged yet. So it was a very unconscious thing. And so the next turning point was when I had to move. So I got a really good opportunity to travel the world and be part of the company Ferrero. And so that would mean only international travels, business class travels, and somehow situations got created in such a way that I didn't take that job, and I took that 6 months break. a sabbatical to really connect back with myself. And that's when the real shift happened, to be very honest, because so everything led to that point. I achieved and there was a break, I achieved and there was a break, and there was the joy of teaching meditation. That the 6 months break, I really worked on myself, because till then everything was superficial to try and get to what I wanted to be. But at those 6 months, the self-worth challenges that I was experiencing, the inferiority and superiority complex that I had throughout my life, and then what was I really meant to do? Because I have all of these talents, I can do so many things, but what should I really be doing? And so I thought, what, I don't want to do this corporate job. No, I'll just do seva. And then I tried to do like volunteering work. I worked with the foundation. I thought, maybe this is also short-lived after a certain point. What is it that will really give me happiness? And again, I realized, okay, no, you know what? I need certain discipline in my life. So I came back to my job. But this time, when I went back to my job, it was not the same, because I was no longer the same person. I had so much clarity about who I really was. I still don't think I remember what I was meant to do, but I knew who I was, and I completely accepted the situations, and whatever be the situation. And I'll tell you, because we create our own reality, and I had so much clarity of what I wanted, the exact kind of job. I got that job. And my journey of fulfilling my purpose began, because that's how the spreading that I was doing, which was in bits and pieces, and you were there. I still remember sir was saying, you should write, and I was like, I should write. Yeah. And I still remember, I think it was 2014 when he said you should write an article. And when I wrote the first time, I realized Patriji is my guru. And I was like, guru? I myself was observing my own shift, because till then I was not a Guruji, Babaji follower. But I myself used those words, and I acknowledged that there is something much more powerful, a force that is always at play. And that's the force of nature. So the significant shift was, then we started the youngsters group called Sensei. We came up with a magazine. We brought more structure. We went to schools and colleges. We did youth events across India. We put together Mahayog, Dhyan Kumbh, and it was just one after the other. It was progression, and it was no longer achieve and break. It was just a flow of everything unraveling by itself.
Amazing. That's really amazing, because I think your experience will be related to so many people who are working, because we find to get drift apart from, we get into something, we really enjoy it, and then once we enjoy it, we forget that this is the root cause of that enjoyment. So really amazing, and thank you for sharing that with us. Now